Hi. I eat the crust on my pizza. Uh-huh. Like, you're not going to eat that? Yeah. Welcome back. Once again, it is time for the comics coffee table. Grab a cuppa, pull up a chair, and take a break with us. Happy Friday. Have a coffee break. The weekend is afoot if you are a celebrant of such things. I see that. Don't worry. Pre-recorded, but live before a studio audience of my stuffed animals from our Boston studios. Welcome to the comics coffee table there. Oh, tough guy, sizzle chest, thick neck, turkey pants, however you identify in this grand spectrum of humanity here on planet Earth and beyond. Wowzers, that's a good cup of fresh coffee. I hope the same for you. Whatever it is you're sticking under your nose today there. Chief, pal. We can't say chief anymore. It's a local wicked Boston thing. Oh, you can't say that anymore either. Oh, there's a lot of things you can't say anymore, Pika. I mean, I'm not. He wanted me to start off. He wanted me to lead off with the cold open about Dr. Seuss's next line of retro 70s inspired, gritty urban noir. It was like Horton hit a hoe. You can't make that joke anymore. You shouldn't even make that joke back then. I mean, you hurt people's feelings. He's not very sensitive sometimes. Years of battling other Pokemon. He's just a little lost touch with that sensitive side of him, but, we struggle here. You know what I mean? Be better, Pikachu. Be better. We are rebagging, reboarding, and reboxing my entire comic book collection. Along the way, we are also getting our head around grading and what a comic book is worth. Like, while I'm rebagging, reboxing, and reboarding my collection, I'm getting a good kind of sense of, have you ever looked at your comic book accumulation or your collection and being like, how much is this stuff all actually worth? So I got the Overstreet price guide and the Overstreet guide to grading comics. These were given to me by my parents last Christmas. So this year is dedicated to my parents. You can pick up your own copies at your local comic book shop. You can ask them to order them for you if you don't have them already. And I haven't got the newest 53rd edition of the Overstreet price guide yet either. Maybe I'll just wait a couple of months for the 54th. I mean, it's good to have in your collection, and I'm glad I'm tuned into the Overstreet guides. Really, it'll up your game a bit, but also for grading comics, I'm like, this isn't worth its cover, of course, because it's got spine crack, it's got a corner, it's got what we call dings all over it. And I should have been using boards the entire time, acid-free backing boards in the comic book bags themselves. Live and learn, kid. Live and learn. I go to my local comic book shop hopefully every Wednesday for new releases. But since I'm doing this reboarding, rebagging, and reboxing show, I need supplies. So I'm getting my supplies at my local comic book shop. I'm getting short boxes there. Always make sure that your box has the lid included in it. Double check it before you pay for it. Here's the 8-step pictogram on how to assemble, how to turn this into this. I demo it every time I need to assemble one. So I'm getting short boxes. Something fell. I'm getting snugs, polypiperine. I still got to get some Mylars. I will eventually. And boards, acid-free boards. I'm getting all of my supplies at my local comic book shop. I am. Why? I could be saving money. Actually, with the amount of supplies I get, I could be saving, a good chunk of change on my supplies if I use my online supply chain. The one with the free shipping and the built-in movie network that I enjoy. But how does that help my local comic book shop and keep it open? It doesn't. I want to be part of the solution. I want my local comic book shop, my LCS, to remain open for as long as possible. I'm just prepping some bags. I'm going to be using them, thinking, while I'm just shooting the breeze, why don't you be productive? And, yeah, so spend your money at your local comic book shop. There are brick and mortar mom and pop shops. They're local businesses. Get your ass out of your seat and get back to the local comic book shop and rediscover your comic book community. Talk to people, other shoppers. Ask them, what do you got in your stack this week? So I make Wednesday like a kind of a quasi-sacred day to, just go to the comic book shop after work, look for new releases, and get some supplies too. I definitely need new bags and a few more short boxes. Yeah, it all accumulates too. I'm migrating from these long boxes to short boxes. See that stain? Can you see that? That stain? Yeah. These boxes have done their job. They've protected the contents for the most part. I should have been using backing boards the entire time, saving from corners and spine roll. Live and learn. So, I'm basically, when it comes to grading and the value of these comics, these are like all my beloved comics here that I've accumulated in the past 20 years. They're like dollar bin worthy because of all that, pretty much. Yeah, I know. There's an occasional, first appearance. There are occasional keys in here, but for the most part, yeah, I'm looking at shitloads of dollar bin comics. But I thought it'd be great content for a comic book show to perpetuate and continue our comic book shop style conversation. Let's just keep showing our love for and of the floppy. We already got some boarded comics in here. Let's take them out. We've talked about them before, like Warren Ellis's work on Secret Avengers. They were like the Black Ops Avengers team. That was really cool. That was a nice run. And Warren Ellis was a premier talent at Marvel before his cancellation. Now he's not allowed to, make comics anymore. But I hear he's doing very well for himself, though. He's a consultant when it comes to, like video games and stuff like that, I guess. So he's doing a lot of consultant work. So Warren's not suffering. He's still using his skill set and he's still earning and he's making a good living. And he's just, changed where he plies his trade. If he can't be published anymore, but he's still very valuable to the right people that know how much of an asset he is. Yeah, the new Universal stuff. I'm a sucker for a Zero issue. It's Gravel issue number 0. Should that even get a board? Some of them are just... I'm getting really picky on what I'm using my supplies for. A few of these I had. Well, let's talk about dollar bin. These I got in the dollar bin last year at Wicked Boston Con, and they had bags and they have boards, and I'm missing one of them. I'm missing issue 25, part 6 of Enemy of the State. John Romita Jr., inks by Klaus Janson. It's a wonderful comic. Actually, this is a 12 issue. It goes from Wolverine, Enemy of the State, to Wolverine, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Same creative combo of John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson on inks. And I'm missing 3 of these. Part 1. I should have part 1 somewhere. I should have issue 26 somewhere, huh? It'd be odd not to... Well, I am odd, but we got issues 1... I got parts 2, 3, and 4. And that's right, like when they dropped the Marvel Knights imprint as well. I love this John Romita Jr. Wolverine art. Oh. John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson. Just what a combo. Yeah. And we're gonna make a list. Not the kind of list that you like, you know, for Yahtzees, istaphobes, and stinky people that you need to block on Twitter because you don't approve of them. Comics creators. On the other hand, they are sensitive artists, you know. Jeez. Struggling to be understood and to correct the past. And, jeez. Sorry, just want a superhero story, please. Can we just... I ordered the Big Mac. Here we go. This is a nice Steranko callback cover. Let's look at one real quick. Look, Blockbuster Video. This is a Joe Quesada cover, by the way. Hello. And, oh, wow. Just, oh, gosh. Hello. Let's look at the indicia. Man Thing. The movie. August 2005. So this is almost a 20-year funny book. This is 18 years old. Old enough to vote, but not old enough to drink. I'm all for raising the voting age. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just missing a couple of these. And maybe talk to someone who owns a comic book shop and give them a list and be like, hey, I'm looking for this, and that. I think they'll send them a text right away. I tried to like this. This was New Universal by Warren Ellis and Salvador LaRocca. You know, I got these in singles. I'm going to save myself, you know, the resources. You know what I mean? I'm going to double this up. Why? Because I can, and I want to. Look, sneakers. And this 25 free songs to download off the intro poop. And previously in New Universal. Let's look at the indicia. March of 2007. Yeah, so apparently Warren Ellis had a cataclysmic hardware crash, and then brought his desktop to a service center, someone to repair, and then while the hard drive was there, waiting to be repaired, someone broke in and stole a lot of stuff, including Warren's computer that he was having fixed. Therefore, he lost scripts and stories for a lot of different things he was working on, and this Universal is one of them. And he doesn't take tardiness jokes very well. I was joking around with him on Twitter years ago, and he got really bent out of shape about a crack I made about tardiness. And I can see why, because he lost the rest of his New Universal story, and it picked up again, and he basically had to rewrite what he wrote. Hey, look, a car ad. Who is this? It's a 2007 funny book. Who is this being marketed to? It's the ubiquitous old milk ads with Vince Carter, huh? Video games. Previously, a New Universal. Mm-hmm. And New Universal used to be New Universe used to be it was an 80s imprint by Jim Shooter that tried to make a brand new universe parallel to the Marvel universe where time marched in real time, and they had new heroes, and there's different stakes in this world, and this went for $2.99 an issue back in 2004. So we have the first 6 issues. Can we look that up? New Universal. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're clobbering your problems and not having them being clobbered by you. Here we go. Wonderful art by Sal LaRocca. I love this stuff. New Universal is a comic book series by Warren Ellis and artist Salvador LaRocca and colorist Jason Keith. The book was a reimagining of Marvel's New Universe concept, launched to coincide with the 20th anniversary of New Universe's creation in 1986. I was 13 going on 14 then. Also, Dark Knight Returns was coming out about then. Great time to be a funny book fan. My grandparents had moved from Dorchester to Quincy, and in Quincy Center was my new comic book shop, New England Comics. I also had Superhero Universe 3, which was on the corner of Winter and Washington Streets there in downtown Crossing. Iron Man. 15 years ago. So yeah. So Warren lost all those files, and then it's the video game ad for Iron Man. Let's look at this in DCI here. July 2008. So this is about a year later. And this is called New Universal Shockfront. Let's see if it says I'm reading this from the wiki. You've got it. As with the original New Universe, New Universal is set in a world where several people suddenly develop superhuman abilities. However, where New Universe began with the real world as its starting point, the world of New Universal is already markedly different. Let's see. Yeah, New Universal went 6 issues. Then New Universal Shockfront went 2 issues. Then there were 2 more issues called New Universal 1959 and then New Universal Conqueror. And those were just, and those came out in 2008. Kieran Gillen wrote New Universal 1959. Cy Spurrier wrote New Universal Conqueror. And In 2009, Warren Ellis lost his story files in a computer accident. He subsequently announced that the project is basically dead. Oop. Yeah. And I tried. And, you know, it was Warren Ellis himself that got me to buy these issues. A big fan of Ellis and his work. And, yeah, that's that. So I have the complete Warren Ellis New Universal. The Warren Ellis New Universal, not Kieran Gillen's and Cy Spurrier's contributions. I'll put you with it too. Next wave, Agents of Hate. This collects issues 1 through 12, and just great work by Stuart Immonen, like Elsa Bloodstone. You know what I mean? We just saw her in Werewolf by Night #1. She's got that same look and attitude. It's like Werewolf by Night feels like a spiritual continuation of this book. Now, this book kind of ruined comics in a way, because everything has been like this ever since. Is this 2006, 2007? That's when Warren Ellis was the rock star of the comics book world. He was like Gene Simmons of Kiss. And you had these rock star, another generation of rock star comic book creators. You had Mark Miller, you had Grant Morrison, Jeff Johns, Garth Ennis, just amazing writers. And wow, it was a good time to be a comic book fan. And it's so much Ultimate Spider-Man here. Oh, some Daredevil. J. Michael Straczynski and Mike McCone. A random issue of Fantastic Four. I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but I love them, and I got a lot of respect for them. And I get them very occasionally, like Jay Lee and Grant Morrison's 1, 2, 3, 4 from Marvel Knights. Wonderful art by Jay Lee. Look at this. Look at this opening page. Once Upon a Time on Yancey Street. This is great. When was this made? Let's look at this. The Indicia. First printing, 2002. So copyright 2001, 2002. These are 21, 22-year-old comic. He would again do this same kind of... Morrison would have the same kind of panel over on New X-Men around the same time, opening up E is for Extinction. Hank the Beast McCoy has a conversation with a Genosian skull after the genocide of Genosha by Cassandra Nova in her Wild Sentinels. So it's like thematic, like we see the repeating themes, and especially like in someone like Grant Morrison's work. Wonderful. This is like a moody piece, and it's I haven't read it in a while. I should give it a reread. Look at... Yeah, huh? And then skip ahead over here to just a random floppy. This is a $2.99 comic book. And so we got one video game ad. We've got 2 video game ads. We've got Skechers sneakers. We got an Indicia down here. July of 2005. So this is almost a 20-year-old comic book. They did use purple back then too, but Mike McCone's a great artist. We've got a Spider-Man DVD. We've got Cartoon Network, right? Or is it just... No, this is a cereal ad. Yeah, Berry Bones by Kellogg's. It's the Scooby-Doo cereal. But look, the blue-eyed thing. Yep. And those look like digital onomatopoeia. That's been going on for 2 decades now. I know. I mean, I'm tilting at windmills. I'm never more chaotic than when I'm complaining about digital lettering and digital onomatopoeia and digital coloring in comic books. It's just gotten so pervasive that it's like they're cost cutting. And hey, look, cutesy anime stuff. It's just gotten to the point where it's I don't know, snacks, icy sticks, freezer. We call them Frieza Pops. Frieza Pops. They have Frieza Pops here in Boston. Those are Frieza Pops. Gamefly. When they would, it was like back in the day. Netflix wasn't a streaming service. Netflix was a website where you made a list of movies, and they would mail you a DVD in a self-addressed stamped envelope. Then you would just pop it back in the mail to return it. Straczynski and Deodato Jr. on Icon. Icon was Marvel's answer to Image Comics, giving artists reasons to stay at Marvel Comics by giving them a creator-owned imprint where they can make their own stories. Yeah, here we are. Just a random issue of Fantastic Four. It might have been, hey, yeah, you're not getting a new bag or a new board. I'm sorry. I know, but you'll get a new box. You get a new home. You're gonna get a new mommy and a new house, and wow. Some Daredevil. I must have just moved. $2.99 Daredevil. Marvel Knights Daredevil, issue 72. Alex Maleev on art. Brian Michael Bendis. This is Decalogue Part 2. Yeah, June 2005. Which is like, these are probably some of the earliest comics, random comics. Wednesdays. Just 18 years ago. A Wednesday 18 years ago. No, you're not getting a new bag and board, but yeah, Matt Murdock's his secret identity got outed, and these were some really, really good comics. Moody, but like this Alex Maleev art was really outstanding. And look, hey, look, a video game ad. Just people standing around talking. This is Bendis. People standing around talking. Another bit, standing around talking. I mean, standing around talking in hallways. Look, they're not in the kids' room. They're in the hallway, standing around talking in hallways. Standing around, and look, more standing around and just showing, not telling. But around this time too, Joss Whedon released his new flagship for the X-Men. Grant Morrison had just left his much ballyhooed tenure at the flagship New X-Men for 4 years. Yeah, so I only got a couple of issues of Daredevil. Go from here's a good gap. Okay, I go from Amazing Spider-Man 521, written by J. Michael Straczynski, art by Mike Deodato Jr., and we go, here's a gap and a collection. We go to 648, and it's Humberto Ramos and Dan. Fuck you, Slot. I mean, I would set these on fire. I set one of these on fire out of protest. But what about everyone else that worked on the title? Well, they're adjacent to Dan Slott. Huh? That's your logic. Adjacency is just as evil. You're double secret probation evil because you're adjacent to Dan Slott. It's your logic, not mine. You don't like it? So what? But I was a big fan of Big Time. Got the ubiquitous milk ads. Do you even know who these people are? It says so right there, right? It's just you. Is that a player? Should I know this person? I don't know my basketball. That's Apollo Anton. He's a skier, a speed skater. They used to have the names on here. Yeah, well, yeah, Apollo. Yeah. Apollo Ono. Yeah. Car ads. Spiderman. We'll get to this tomorrow. Give us something to do. You know, talk more about Spider-Man. Got a chunk of Spider-Man in here. Yeah. Marvel comics of a certain age. About 15 to 18, almost 20 years ago. Wow. Indeed. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Happy Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope that you run your day and don't have your day run you. And if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button. Smash that like button. Turn on those notifications. If you've been subscribed and you can't receive notifications or for your notifications for comments, try unsubscribing and then resubscribing right back and then turn on the notifications again. I'm sorry, it sounds like it takes about 3 or 4 clicks there, but it might be just to shake off whatever's bugging the algorithm. And if you're counting on your notifications from from our channel, I would suggest that. I got that as a hint from someone on Twitter that cares. They were like, try this. This might work. I've heard it does. I'm like, okay. So I'll suggest that to you as well. Oh, lovely live chat that we hang out together. Continuing this comic book shop style conversation. You can continue this conversation in the comments anytime. And thank you so much for showing up and spending your break with us. We are the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair, grab a cuppa, whatever it is you're shoving under your nose today. We're just taking a break, hanging out together, talking about our geeky, love of our life comic books. We are the geeky chill stream you've been looking for. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.